everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Master Quest. This is going to be episode 86 coming to your hot. Going to be February 10th for anybody that's listening on the audio, otherwise February 8th for us. Holy smokes, we got a full group today. Nick, you're still here. Hi. I'm glad. I know you're gonna book it out on us, but us starting early actually worked out for you. Welcome.
Hi. This is quite a convenient change of plans. The only downside is that I had to shower on a Saturday morning.
Oh no!
Because I have to run out of the house right after this.
And
oh, bad.
our parallel to Captain Canada up there is Glenn. How you doing, baby?
Great. Just loving life, man. You know, every day is good.
Awesome. I'm going to be your host today, Tyler Bidito.
About that.
You're going to Forrest Gump it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But we do have two important guests today. The developers of Squidlit. Holy smokes. We played it, we reviewed it, and I was super surprised. Thank you, Sam, Alex. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. We're glad to be here.
You guys have, it hasn't really been a long time coming because thankfully it went by fairly quickly getting you guys together, but holy smokes, this is exciting. This is, I believe, our first time actually having a, two video game developers on the show.
Oh my.
This is true.
Oh.
Yeah. So no pressure. You don't have to, there's
no pressure.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you're setting the standards. You can, try to sound as cool as possible. I mean, unless you count those guys that did the Pixel Spark, but they weren't really.
They were just mods.
They were admins, okay? Glorified mods. Mods with power. But yeah, holy smokes, Sam, how's your week been going?
It's been going pretty good. We've been working super hard on Super Squidlit. I've been focusing primarily on cutscenes this week and last week.
Ooh, cutscenes. Now, when you say cutscenes, is that something new compared to the Squidlit, or are we just talking about like conversational and any dialogue that's happening?
Usually what I mean by cutscenes are like, there'll be little scenes of like you enter a new room or a new area, and there'll just be a segment of conversation with multiple characters. And we started doing some new like experimenting with camera movement in Game Maker. So like having a camera that will move around the level.
Nice.
And there's two of them in Squidlit. So, but there's a lot more in Super Squidlit.
Yes.
Okay. That's awesome. I stuttered there. I'm really nervous. Just inside crowd here. Alex, how's your week been going?
It's been going pretty good. I've been drawing and animating a lot of stuff as usual. Mm-hmm. I've been attempting to make more music, and we're a little behind on the music front, just because, frankly, the rest of the game is so massive. But now we're finally looking like we're gonna have some time to make more music.
Yeah.
Oh man, it sounds like it's been all hands on deck for Super Squidlit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you guys start the project for the second game?
Oof. Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's more like a year and 3/4, but yeah.
All right. Nick, Hot Wheels,
Hi.
beat that.
Getting a hiccup.
Hot Wheels?
Hot Wheels.
I like Hot Wheels. I used to have Hot Wheels.
I was just making a what?
What?
Fresh pots?
Yes.
Fresh pods?
Pots.
Pots.
Yes.
Nick, how's your week been going, man?
It's been all right. The highlight of my week, which is funny. I don't know if I've expressed this on the show before, but I hate that I'm only just discovering D&D.
I know the feeling, man. Like, I'm glad you took to it so well, but so what's getting at you? What's bothering you here?
No, I hate that I only just found D&D. Like, I am about to turn. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not complaining about my age. I'm just saying I'm about to turn 25, and this is I only discovered D&D last year.
Oh man,
right?
Like, I wish I was born with the player's guide.
Born in 1978, fucking playing Gary Gygax's basement.
Yeah, listening to metal, playing D&D, I would have been a true rebel. I would have fit in.
Yeah.
I feel like if you did that early, though, your father would have like viciously tried to tear that away from you, and then
Yeah, no, you probably would. Yeah.
But once you got the Canada, it's like, yes, unsuppressed nerderosity, which is also a Midwest term. I just made it up. Please don't quote me on
Nice.
that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, no, we talked about it last week. I had my idea of my first ever session.
Yes, congrats. Welcome to the D&amp Club.
And I completely understand all the memes now about D&D being a game of the players versus the DM, and I just want to kill my players, but they won't die.
Do it.
I
So-
understand.
Do it still.
It's like you want to murder the players, but when they succeed against that murder, you got to compliment them and give them more stuff so it's harder next time.
It's confusing. It makes me happy when they successfully complete my challenges, but I also hate it.
That's fair. I mean,
So, but but it was just the one session. It ended up being like a 6-hour session because the original plan was 4 hours. First 2 hours to set up the characters. This was session 0, and then the next 2 hours to just get into it a little bit, introduce the world and the story. But then we all just got caught up in it, and then we just ended up going for like a full regular 4-hour session.
nice.
Very good.
Yeah, so I ended up coming home at like 1 a.m. or something.
You feel like that kind of mentality is like how Piccolo probably felt when he was training Gohan? Like, I'm trying to kill this guy, but I should be proud that he's actually surviving it.
No, Piccolo was a true, at the start at least, was a tsundere character. Because he's like, I don't fucking care about anybody else. I just want to be Mr. Evil and bad guy and kill everybody. Look at this pathetic, weak, little, tiny creature. He's not cute at all. I will protect him. I will give up my life for him.
I'll train him.
Every person,
Baka.
it's every person with their pet is so Gohan's Piccolo's pet. Eventually.
Not like I want you to dodge or anything. Okay. It sounds like we're going to have a lot of D&D that's happening over here because Glenn, you've been... Oh gosh, you gave the look. The haunted look. The 1,000 games a week look.
Yeah, I'm between Casual Quest Masters and my other groups just for some reason have figured out how to maintain some sort of consistency. I'm running a minimum of 3 games a week. So but the beauty is that I'm comfortable enough as a dungeon master that for the most part, I just get I do a lot of work early on anything and get a really great idea of who the players are, what's going on politically, socially, magically, whatever. It's D&D. And then I just let the players interact with it. So I have a timeline for events and things and places and people that are all very interesting and compelling, but it's up to the players to interact with that. So it's not like a module where, they've got a specific set of things for you to do, or even a sandbox. It's like a beach. So you can just, there's a whole beach. Like the other day, some of my players, long story short, there's evil versions of them that had a long time to kind of like sully their good names while they weren't there. And they used the wish spell to bring them to them because they were tired of looking for them in the world. And little did they know that this guy, this 20th level wizard, had made a lot of simulacrums. So the fight got really bad against them really fast. It was bad. And he was just like, one of the guys was just like, I just don't like, impossible fights. I was like, dude, I didn't wish them there. You made that choice. I'm sorry. It felt difficult, but I did not choose for this to happen. You did, so, but it's beautiful in that way. And that, in that way, as long as I get a really good base, the planning for it after that becomes a lot simpler because I can just come knowing, okay, this is what they've done. Okay, this is where they are in the timeline. And then what are they going to do next? I don't know. Okay, how does that interact with that? Great. And you just move on. It's a lot of fun.
I believe you've said before when it comes to Nick and Brandon and I in Casual Quest Masters that we pretty much generate our own content, and there's been times where it's like you'll have stuff to do on the little sheet, and then you're like, we didn't do any of that, but you guys progress somehow nonetheless. Would you say that like instead of being a dungeon master for a show, you're more of a professional dog walker at this point, just trying to make sure that we stay on our leashes?
A little bit. It's more improv than it is anything else. Just being able to roll with what you guys do, your choices are the only thing that holds gravity and weight, because otherwise the situation would remain, the plot wouldn't change in my head. This is what the ending is going to be if no one does anything. And then how that changes, ebbs and flows, and a lot of it started with, trying to make traveling interesting and making it valuable. Because one of the things I noticed, especially in things like video games, is that even when you're going to talk to the king, you meet important NPCs. You find out about other things in the setting that are valuable. And in D&D, a lot of times we tend to kind of like lose that, because we want montages. We want to get to the point. We want to do this thing. We want to fight the bad guy. But a lot of the most valuable things for the character and the party and the group dynamic happen in those little moments, So I've been working really hard to make sure that you guys get a chance to kind of delve into who these characters are and why they're doing the things they're doing.
I missed the gnome lady already. Oh man, what was her name?
The gnome lady in which gnome lady? I play so many
Tower.
NPCs. In the Wizard's Tower?
In
In the Tower of the Arcane Brotherhood?
Oh
my god, that was like session 3, yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait.
Yeah, because you were like,
kind of like
any
podcast
gnome
amnesia?
tinkers? She's like, what, just because I'm a gnome?
No, that's fair. But yeah, you've brought a lot of memorable characters along the way, where it's just out of the blue where, Neverember, sure. Lord Neverwinter. But then it's like, oh man, the gnome.
Oh, but she was so lovely. Yeah.
And Elgira, my rejected love.
Not yet. She's just been weird about you making advances. No overt rejections, but if that
just
does happen. Just
because I'm a changeling pretending to be 10 years older than I really am, and I'm basically 3 kids in a trench coat at this point.
Little rascals. Yeah, but D&D is great. It's not as stressful as it used to be. Dungeon mastering has become an absolute joy the more I do it. So yeah. And I'm happy to find out that our guests like Dungeons and Dragons and or tabletop RPGs in general.
Oh yes, indeed.
Yeah.
That is a great bonding thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sam's quite the dungeon master.
Yeah?
I've been I started playing D&D when I was about 10 years old. My parents met over D&D, and so my first like version was 1.0.
Oh,
we're like,
oh, that's so cute.
Oh man, like 1.0 was.
It's weird.
It's weird. Like
where a wizard could step on a rock and die, right?
But like
points.
Non-human characters had level caps that were lower.
Yeah.
Only humans could get to 20th level.
What the heck?
Yeah, I
Really?
know. Like
They've done a lot
dwarven
about,
fighter could only go up to like level 8.
No, not a fighter, just a dwarf. You could be a dwarf, or you could be an elf.
dwarf, or you could be an elf, and then you could be like a human fighter.
Like dwarf and elf were classes.
They weren't races. That's interesting.
It's funny for Nick and I specifically in this case, like, we have only known 5e. 4e seems like retro, and then 3.5 is essentially like the Shadowlands in the Lion King. It's like, we never go there.
3.5 is vintage. It's like, it's you go to your, your local antique bookstore, and then there's just a cupboard in the back that has a lock in it with glass windows, and you just see like relics of the past, and there's 3.5.
It comes on vinyl and everything.
Sam got me into it during 3.5, or not during 3. I think 4 was out, but our friend group played 3.5 for a while, and then we moved on to Pathfinder.
Yeah, 3.5 and Pathfinder, if I'm not mistaken, are essentially
pretty much.
They're essentially the same thing.
Yeah,
and we're finishing up our last Pathfinder game probably ever before we move to 5e, within the coming months.
Okay, well, welcome to 5th edition.
Yeah.
I was a part of the D&D Next play testing. It's one of my favorite things they did with it is just go, hey, we want to do a new thing, but we want you guys to like it. So we're going to send you this game for free. Tell us what you think, and we'll change it.
Oh, man.
Wonderful. Yeah, that was how Next was, and then it became 5th edition. And then, because since you were around for, 1st edition, then you would recognize the old Unearthed Arcana books are now a monthly thing where Jeremy Crawford and the team out there, they release playtest material that eventually finds its way into new books. So they allow every new facet that comes into the game, aside from the stories and the modules, the actual mechanics and classes and subclasses are playtested by the community before they're actually released in books. So Most
nice. And speaking of modules, that's actually what I've been looking into this week because it's been weird. Running a homebrew campaign from the get-go is my very first thing that I've done as a dungeon master is very difficult, first off, but it's really rewarding, having, this is your world. This isn't some world from a book. But I then discovered Curse of Strahd, and I'm like, holy shit, I wish I did a module because this is a lot better than what I could have done. And have you guys ever messed with Curse of Strahd, Sam, Alex?
No, I don't think I've ever messed with Curse of Strahd.
Well, you know Barovia, though, right? Being an OG D&D person, right? Barovia, the demi-plane.
I think you're starting to gatekeep.
Strahd.
We played mostly in 3.5. We played a lot of just random modules that would string together, usually from Necromancer games.
Okay.
And then when we moved to Pathfinder, I started picking up the official Pathfinder modules. And right now we're playing through the Curse of the Crimson Throne.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome.
It's a real crazy campaign. It was made especially crazy because my party decided that they were going to do a new form of party that is consisted of only paladins.
Ooh. Oh, Pally Party!
Ooh.
Yeah! I want to do a bard party so bad. Just have it
from the tribunal
band.
Yeah, they formed the tribunal of 3 different paladin gods. And it's been a long ride, and 2 of them have died.
Yeah.
One was cursed. One brought on to himself a curse of Tiamat, trying to save one of the paladin's dragon companions. And he just recently he made a deal with a demon to get them out of the castle dungeons. And he made a deal with a demon to become an anti-paladin for a limited period, and recently just got out of that and has been redeemed in the light of the god of healing and everything.
Oh my god! It sounds like so. Is your party really more focused on RP rather than being dungeon junkies?
We're stupid though.
Okay. But then you'll love 5th edition because it's so RP focused.
Yes. Yeah, I've been reading the books and I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait to jump into this.
Well, and the beauty is you're an experienced DM, rule 0. It's just the rule of cool, whatever goes at the table is just kind of whatever the table communally agrees on. The actual mechanics can be completely ignored if it doesn't make sense to the group. It's 5th edition can be whatever you want it to be. So that's really cool.
I'm very excited.
I'm trying to imagine if there was a team of paladins and there's some kind of quest giver that comes up to you and he's like, oh, I need you to save this and do this, and everybody's like, all right, gentlemen, ladies, pull out your tenets. Let's make sure everything clears through with each one of us. Nature paladin. Yeah, no trees want to be cut. Vengeance. Ooh. They want us to beat this bad guy, but he's only the second command. We got to go for the top dog. It's it'd just be funny. It's like, all right, our lawyers are going to contact your lawyers. We're going to check all their tenants, make sure the contracts are all fulfilled. Everything looks good. And I do like the idea of doing all bards. Nick shook his head fervently at that idea, though. But,
bard party.
Glenn, all you got to do is have a giant meteor hit the entire Sword Coast and, Final Fantasy XIV this. From the ashes rose 3 bards.
Just give me an axe guitar.
Well, all we got to do is make you a College of Valor, College of Swords bard. And then you're basically just a fighter who sometimes makes music or something like that. What I was going to go get is something that I'm very proud of. I've been very active in trying to restore and take pieces of D&D history. So I have all of the original books.
Ooh.
Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
And so here's the monster manual and the player's handbook. Very nice. Yeah, and then this one is the one that is.
Pretty sure the book is older than I am.
A pristine fiend folio
Oh man.
Oh,
And then I think this is my favorite find ever because this is a video game podcast.
This is a video game podcast.
Wait.
I have the Intellivision Dungeons and Dragons game in the box.
in the box.
Oh man.
Yeah,
We
so,
don't
like,
have the box for it.
It's got like the stickers and the ads and all the things that would go on it with the thing in the box and everything. So I was even
awesome.
able to, from the same person, just get a bunch of like original, like old pewter miniatures. Some of them are actually lead, I think. So like,
Oh yeah.
I love like keeping pieces of that history. So like, I even have the original Unearthed Arcana book out there, but it's a mess. One of my players gave it to me. So
Hell yeah,
I-
that's awesome.
love the OG. The OG. I want to go to GaryCon. So freaking bad.
What is GaryCon?
It is a tabletop convention that takes place in Gary Gygax's hometown.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Oh man.
And like, if you're a part of the inn community, there's a group of like people like Satine Phoenix and Stefan Picorni from Dwarven Forge and some of those guys that'll go play in the basement where it was founded with Luke Gygax.
Holy
I don't. Well,
smokes.
maybe they do, but either way, they play a game with Luke and maybe one of the other siblings. But
Wouldn't
you
it be
can go
funny
and
if
drive by
they
the
sold
house
home
where it
there?
was made. What's
Like,
that?
wouldn't it be funny if they sold the house like 20 years ago, but they rent out the basement like every year, just like
I would.
but just
Are
a
you
normal,
kidding me?
nice conservative Catholic
Airbnb.
home, and
That's
you're
the
like,
D&D
hey,
mecca, man.
Airbnb D&D.
Yeah.
Glenn,
Let's just
you,
start the business right now.
Yeah.
Airbnb D&D. We'll pitch it to Airbnb.
yeah, it's a nice musty
God.
basement. The sound of the dice is gonna roll great against this table. Wow, do you hear how rickety it is? Plus, every 20 minutes, we're gonna send Mother down, and Mother's here, meet this nice actor, and she's gonna shout that the dinner's ready, and requirements are,
Just a few
safe
more
word.
minutes, Mom.
Just a few more minutes, Mom, and if you get too loud, she'll, even for a nominal fee of $5.99 an hour, she'll actually pound her broom against the floor.
Oh,
Man,
I'm sold.
Deal.
sign me up. Put me in,
So-
coach.
Glenn, you did say something that is very, very true amongst everything, and that is we are, in fact, a video game podcast. I almost said a D&D podcast because, wow, we converted. Yeah, we've all played video games. Glenn, you've been playing some more World of Warcraft, I hope?
Yeah, a little bit. Just kind of, like I said, just going through the arms warrior struggle. Apparently, the later phases are more rewarding to him, but the original development of the game did not foresee warriors as a damaging class, despite the fact that 2 of the 3 trees are damage. So all the tiered gear is just for tanks. And so I'm an arms warrior that gets nothing from raids. I've done it for 10 weeks straight, and I've gotten 2 items that I use.
I'm sorry, man.
outside
I
of the
mean,
raid.
it's an unfortunate truth. The classic World of Warcraft kind of focused on, specific aspects of each race, class.
Mhm.
We've got a druid that came in. He's rated for 3 weeks. He's got a full tier 2 set. And I'm just like they're like, oh, we're only taking the most geared people into Blackwing Glare. I'm like, I'm not running Blackrock Depths to get stupid Savage Gladiator Chain or Hand of Justice one more time. I will not do it. I've done them over 100 times and seen neither one time. So I'm ready for the
Well,
next
so you do it
phases and
just
hoping
one
that they
more
kind of kick me
time.
along. Maybe it'll be there. Nope.
That phase, Glenn, holy smokes.
Nope. Yeah, no, it's good though. I'm having fun. The community that I found the guild is Need Not Greed, and they're pretty great. A bunch of nicer, people. There's they cater towards serious and casual players. There's people that play 10 hours a day, and other people like me that play a couple days a week. So they're good dudes.
10 hours a day.
There's one guy that he's
Does
a
that come
Fury
with
warrior,
weekly
and
therapy sessions? Because that's dangerous, man.
Well, he also he I don't know what the guy does. He lives in he's somewhere up in
He lives in
Canada.
Azeroth is what he does.
Well, he found a guy that was streaming. He was a rogue, and he was streaming just killing people in Ironforge on our server, and he camped his body for 12 hours.
Oh my goodness.
And got the guy to stop streaming, and found out he had another friend who was doing the same thing, and now he's camping him until he stops streaming. So some of those guys don't have much to do. Now, granted, this guy's a nice guy. He's doing a service by getting rid of a rogue who's killing randos in Ironforge. But like, he plays World of Warcraft. Now they're all getting into Minecraft, but when Blackwing Lair comes out, they'll come back. He's the
equivalent of like the anti-hero of RuneScape known as a PKKer.
Oh, player killer?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That
He's the Deadpool of our world.
True. Yeah.
And thus the stereotype of Dorito dust coated fingers, Mountain Dew drinking neckbeard gamers have resurrected.
This is the guy in Make Love Not Warcraft episode.
Oh my gosh. That episode. The first episode of South Park I've actually ever watched because it was...
What?
Yeah, it was, for some reason, that one episode was free on the Xbox 360 that I could download. That just the one episode for some reason. And I've never watched, like, I just got the Xbox 360 that year, and I couldn't afford any games or stuff, so I downloaded anything that's free, including that one episode. And at that point, I don't even think I had played World of Warcraft. I just thought it was funny because, you know, there was that guy. Little did I know, 3 years later, hey, guess what? I wasn't that guy, please, no. Anyways, you've been playing a different game alongside that.
Yes. A game that I have found that I am just kind of in a love-hate relationship. There's only very small parts that I hate, and most 95% of it I just absolutely love it. It's like a combination. It's a game called Journey to the Savage Planet.
Thank you.
And it is a combination of Myst, No Man's Sky, Breath of the Wild, and Tim and Eric Awesome Show.
Well, the what combination?
Yeah.
Eric Awesome Show?
Yeah. Oh, yes. They kind of send over... I'll give you a quick rundown. You work for this company called Kindred Aerospace, who is one of the companies. They advertise themselves as the fourth best aerospace company. And you kind of get the feel that Earth is on its last legs and they're trying to expand into habitable, biomes on different planets. And they sent you to all of these different planets. There's not supposed to be any intelligent life there. The first thing you see is a giant, very, very intelligent life-made tower. And so you got to categorize life information as you progress as an explorer. You get access to upgrades because there's a 3D printer on your ship. You have to repair your ship, make your new upgrades, kind of explore the mystery of what's going on with this tower. It's a lot of fun. The mechanics are really good. The art style is very interesting. Sometimes it's hella goofy, and so you'll get ads periodically from, the space waves, because it takes a while for ads to show up, and that's where
the art style. Yeah, the art style. I watched it play a little bit. The art style is kind of like No Man's Sky meets acid.
Yeah,
it's acid.
And then you do. I showed you some of the ads.
Yeah. No,
it's like there's instead of having sea monkeys in a little container, it's you grow tiny intelligent life forms and put them into a mini mall and then watch them live. And you can like push the Black Friday button and they start killing each other.
These are not things you can. These are not things you can do in the game. This is just a video in the game that you could watch.
Yeah, for an ad for this place that this world,
for this universe. Yeah,
sometime in the future. Yeah. It's very interesting. I will definitely not spoil anything. I was a little sad because the ads, and I think there may be something I'm missing because there's a co-op version of the game. Because you need to refuel your ship to try and get off the planet, and that's not a spoiler. As soon as you land, you'll find that out if you play the game. But like in the ads for the game, it showed them getting to another planet and doing other things, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do more things. I'm so excited. I've got all this nice new equipment, and then it's like, you do this thing and it's just like the game's over, and I was like, but I want more. So that's about as bad as I can say. Sometimes the mechanics are funky, but that may be me transitioning as a primarily console player to mouse and keyboard, just trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Like one of the first things, I couldn't figure out how to activate my scanner. I was like, I don't know what button that is. It was just like some arrows, and I was like, and Nick was like, that's the tab button. And I was like, oh, okay.
Thank you, Nick. I did get to watch you fight a boss. I believe it was called the Matriarch. That was a cool looking boss.
Oh yeah. She was an interesting one.
Yeah, she was. Holy smokes. Nick,
Hi.
you're playing a new game called Destiny 2.
Yeah,
when did
it's
this come
brand
out?
new. Honestly, I'm not sure. I just
isn't
just
it in
scrolling
beta?
through Steam, and it was no, it was free to play. Maybe it's in beta. Most likely, then free to play. Yeah, no, I
heard it was in beta because it's
Destiny.
missing all
God
sorts of
fucking
things.
damn it, Destiny. No, they're doing seasons. They've been doing that for a while now, and then what they've introduced since last season, which ended in December, and the new season started around then as well, is season exclusive exotics. They're not hard to get, but then that upsets me because I'm a collector, especially when it comes to exotics, and that's the only reason I feel obligated to play, because that collection part of me is carried over from Destiny 1. And I'm like, fuck. All right, so I picked it. I logged in.
Out. You're screwed.
Yeah, no, I hate it. But because I hadn't touched it like everybody else since the start of December, I actually had a ton of fun playing through all of like the new stuff, like the seasonal activities. Yeah, no, just doing like the normal stuff. It has its issues. There's a new community effort going where you have to collect a certain amount of like material that drops from certain activities. The first, there's 7 stages and it's on for 3 weeks or something. The first stage is you have to donate, what was it, 400,000? No, 4 million or so. 400,000, let's say 400,000. Second stage was 700,000, then it was 1.2 million, then it was 2.2, and then there's 7 stages, so they did the math and it looks like it might be about 7.7. And we're already at stage 3 and it only started on Tuesday. So like the community does good during times like this. And it's going to unlock something for us, I guess. I don't know. I'm just going to do my part and like, I contributed, get my emblem, and then like, all right, cool. But beyond that, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Final Fantasy XIV is doing kind of something like that, where they're rebuilding the firmament.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just like a large scale like community thing for everybody to contribute and feel like they did their part and get some sort of visual reward. At least that's how it is on Destiny.
Yeah, those are really fun.
Yeah, actually, it ended up being fun. But again, very important for me to state that because I haven't touched the content since December and everybody else has been like hardcore grinding it and everybody's a little burnt out. But I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? I heard there's some new stuff here. And everyone's like, yes, there's some activities there.
You just hear
things you can do there. But beyond that, like in the group, I tend to be the FPS person here, and so I bit the yeah, of course I Warlock. Warlock's the best class, but we're not going to get into enough of Destiny. I don't. I bit the hype bug, and I bought Escape from Tarkov.
Nice. I think kinda, not really. I'm not a big fan of it, but are you?
I don't know yet. I can tell you it's fun with friends because Escape from Tarkov is not my playstyle usually. So Escape from Tarkov is a large-scale PvEVP. So there's AI players and there's normal human players, and it's about looting, surviving, and then getting out essentially. But it's very complicated with all the button, the keybinds, and like just the loot system and the amount of things there are and the combinations. No.
It's like PUBG with Marketplace, right?
No. This is like the closest comparison I received was DayZ.
Yeah, my light bulb still stays off. I'm sorry.
So like you could game, like right? PUBG's a good comparison in terms of I think so. I think DayZ's a zombie game, but PUBG's a good comparison for like how it looks and how it kind of plays. It's a little bit more made to be realistic. But there's like there's like at least 2 or 3 dozen weapons. Each weapon has can go from 4 to like 12 mod slots each, and they can all take various combinations. And then there's a global marketplace where you could put things up for trade. A GTS, if you will. No. What's the fucking thing in RuneScape? The Grand Exchange.
Yes, the Grand Exchange.
The Grand Exchange. Yeah, that's what it's like.
Oh man, now you're talking about RuneScape, it's starting to get me the.
But I've been playing with some friends, and they've been taking me through it, kind of showing me the ropes. And I say it's not my style because it's very slow paced. Like you can play it aggressive, but then you're gonna get punished if you're not good. Right. Because regardless of whether you have the best armor in the game, one shot can take you out if they find the right gap or the right angle on you.
Right. It's a really slow-paced game in terms of like building up.
And that's not me.
I know it's not you.
That's not me. I get bored. I get antsy. I get itchy. I get like I need to like do something. So that's why I like playing with people, because I'm like, all right, I'm just tell me what to do. I'm just gonna sit here and not do anything until you tell me what to do. And so that's what I've been doing, and it's been fun.
Sounds like me and my relationship with Amanda. Tell me what to do in this marriage. I'm not doing anything until you tell me what to do. I'm just kidding for anybody that's listening, including my wife. I love you. And you mentioned it earlier, Sam, I believe. I believe Alex, you brought it up. But Sam, you've been playing some Final Fantasy XIV?
Yes, I've been playing 14 predominantly lately. I've been playing it since a little after Realm Reborn came out. So I'm an early convert, but it's definitely a fantastic game that I love. And it was that game that got me into tanking in MMOs. And like it was really scary when I first started it, because like my perception of tanks are like this ethereal class that people play if they want to be like the ultimate cool dudes on the server.
Hell yeah.
And because like I just remember tanks of like protection warriors from early World of Warcraft, and that was it.
Yeah. But you
that
played
was the only people allowed to tank.
You played a vanilla Pally, though.
Yeah, I did play a vanilla paladin.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
That's a dangerous game. A lot of people didn't respect that.
No. Paladins got no respect.
Were you red or holy?
Oh, I was a holy paladin.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So like I was
concentration or consecration.
Yeah, I was meh at healing. I was meh at damage. But like I had the best buffs in the game though. So
Kings is amazing.
Oh yeah. Gales with everything, baby.
But yeah, I've been playing 14. I love it. It's very big, a lot of things to do.
What do you usually main as?
Well, I usually main as the Dark Knight, which plays. Nice. It's a great sword wielding class. They use a whole lot of damage reduction and a whole lot of magical damage reduction, and they're one of the most survivable tanks in the game.
Right.
And she plays a Rogadin.
Oh yes, I play a max height female character with just gotta be that buff lady.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a Lalafell.
Nick
yes, Alex plays a tiny little Lalafell, like the size of gnomes.
Yeah, we got married in the game.
Yeah.
Are there any in-game benefits for that? Because I've never played Final Fantasy.
There are actually.
I believe
you get a special ring where you can teleport to your spouse anywhere in the world.
Whoa, that's
kind of tight.
Yeah. It's a great benefit to have, actually.
The ceremony's pretty great too.
Yeah, the ceremony's pretty fun too.
Wish there was like a D&D item for that. I guess you can just homebrew that.
Oh no, the ceremony spell. There's a ceremony spell that grants you magical benefits when you get married. For like a week, I think you get like some nice benefits.
Brahm's gonna get married for the big bad boss.
Brahm is my character in Tyler's campaign, his homebrew campaign. So I know, is this about to be forced on me?
No, I'm sorry. I just know. No, I think between anybody, it would be the paladin. It's like, I get extra benefits each day. Starts looking at the. No, I guess he isn't a goblin monk anymore, is he? So you've been playing Final Fantasy XIV. You get some fun as the Dark Knight. Are you playing it on PC, PS4? What platform are you going for?
Well, I started playing it on the PC, but as the years went by, I'm 30, and I started to develop some like arthritis in my hands. And so like I couldn't get to like all the keys on my keyboard fast enough anymore for in-game stuff.
Yep.
And so I took a break, and I eventually came back and essentially relearned how to play the game on console, which I've been messing with a little bit, but now I play exclusively on PS4 because it's a lot easier for me.
It's funny you should.
You have
say
the Pro
that.
or the vanilla
base?
We actually have two PS4s. And
I set aside money for the Kingdom Hearts one like 6 years in advance.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
So we got the special Kingdom Hearts PS4 Pro, and we actually have the Destiny the Taken King PS4.
Wait, is that the white one with the gold stuff on it?
Yeah.
You bet.
That's
your
what I
ass it
had.
is.
I had that, but it was haunted, so I got rid of it.
Yes.
Yeah, we got that Destiny
PlayStation's
PS4
haunted.
just simply
What?
because it's so pretty.
That was the best time in Destiny history. Changed my mind.
I will. Season Pass didn't exist, and I paid $250 for content that somebody else got for $30 3 months later. I was mad.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can understand.
bad.
Oh damn, jeez, that was a shade thrower right there. Just
I'm sorry. I was very jaded. I had to step away, and I stepped away from the game until it was free to play as Destiny 2 again. And I really enjoyed the game. I think the mechanics are good. I just think that they got too corporate-y and decided to cater to stockholders instead of the fans of the game.
Yeah.
For a while.
I'm a really big old Bungie fan. Like, I love Marathon and Pathways into Darkness and like just all their old stuff, and including Halo. And I liked Destiny 1, but not as much as I could have.
that's fair.
Well, on the dev side, if you know that, you know what the uppers did to them right before, like a year before release, they were like, nah, scrap it, do this, don't do this.
Oh,
And they were like, okay, which is why the game ended up coming out so incomplete. They just didn't have time to finish it because they told them to scrap everything. Like
That
less than
sounds
a
like
year
some
before it came out.
apology or Bungie apologists bullcrap.
I don't know.
That's just what I hear.
quit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Big
I
wigs
was just
don't know what it takes to make a game, you know, and so they just ask for things to be.
And that
done,
was even
and
more
like,
true for Destiny 2.
Yeah,
Let's say,
Because
I didn't
hear about
Activision
that.
calling all the shots because they were bankrolling the whole thing.
Yeah.
fair.
That's why we're never gonna sell stock as Squidlit Ink.
Yeah.
Remain private, big brain.
for the fan.
Yeah.
Gamers for gamers, wonderful.
Alex,
It may be a little more expensive down the line, but it'll definitely be worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could technically.
We just
do
talked
what-
about that a couple weeks ago. I'm willing to pay more money for a game that doesn't have to be supported by a big company that's going to make decisions that the fans won't like. You know, like I would much rather support small devs than, you know, personally. But
I was gonna say you could do what I believe it's the Green Bay Packers route, where you can buy shares in them, but you actually can't profit off of them. It's still $250 regardless. You don't have any actual say. You can't profit, and I believe they're not tradable. You just say, hey, you know, kind of like essentially a $250 commemorative Squidlit coin. If you wanted to go that route.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, each his own. Alex, you've been playing Yokai Watch.
Yes, I have been playing Yokai Watch. I found it at like a $5 store. It's like a dollar store, but it's $5.
Fiverr, or not Fiverr. Five Below?
Yeah. One opened up in our town recently, and I went and checked it out. I thought it was like a cold clothing store, but no, it's like a $5 store.
No, it's a pretty good store.
And they had the only like game they had there was Yokai Watch, and I was like, you know what, sure, and I love it to death. I don't think I like it as much as Pokemon X and Y, which I think it was a direct competitor for, but like
Right.
it definitely has its own thing going on, and I like its general vibe more. I'm really surprised. Like, it's just the music's really nice. I like the small scale storytelling and the episodic nature.
Yeah, it looks like it plays like you're playing an actual like television series.
Yeah, it's very low key as well.
It's so weird because Yokai Watch got, if I understand this correctly, a lot of traction over in Japan, but when it came over here, it just, I think the population's so dominated by Pokemon that it was hard to breach that. In fact, it's kind of surprising that the game Temtem was able to do as well as it did, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Yokai Watch, are you playing that on the 3DS?
I am.
Okay. You feel like if it came out for the Nintendo Switch, you'd buy a version of that instead?
I usually try to play games on the original console that came out on.
Okay.
So like, but if I didn't usually try to ascribe to that rule, I'd play it on the Switch. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of Yokai Watch games. So how many is there? Do you have any idea?
There's 3 that came to America. I didn't know there was but it apparently came out 2017, was it?
Holy smokes! Has it
Yeah.
been that recent?
Yeah. The
Wow.
third one.
So if let's say a fourth one came out for the Nintendo Switch, would you jump on that, or do you feel like maybe hold off on that?
I'd research to see if it's episodic and I need to play the other ones, but yeah, if I had played the other ones, yeah, I'd
Okay, good deal. Over on my end, I actually got to play a little bit of Warcraft 3 Reforged. A lot of people have been dunking the shit out of it, for the lack of a better way of describing that. And it was almost kind of discouraging because, like, I didn't realize how badly people were crapping on it. Like, I got a little warning cue from Nick, and I told Nick the shush. I'll be my own judge. But before I could even get to the game, I unfortunately kept seeing lots and lots of hate for this game. And it was very discouraging to even start it. Apparently, a lot of people are like, we've waited, 10,000 years for this game to be remastered. And, let's not mention the fact it's only $30. The graphics, they're terrible. The cutscenes are god-awful. And it's like, I played it. It's an upgraded version of Warcraft 3. Had a good time. So it's
it is a remaster, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're expecting, but also I haven't looked into it too much. I just knew people were mad, and especially because when people tried to get a refund, they couldn't. They just weren't allowed to get a refund. And now Blizzard has changed it to the point where you just have to hit a button and it's just automatically all processed for you, and you're good to go, kind of. Because people are just flooding customer support with I'm mad. This game's not what I thought it was gonna. Just give me my money back. And then
I watched.
Where's my MOBA?
Well, I told when I was streaming the other day, I told Applehoof that I wanted to play it because a couple of my friends had kind of jumped on that train. It's a $30 game. I figure why, I've never played one of those games before. And he was like, actually, here, let me send you this thing. And it was an hour and a half long video that I actually ended up watching because, I like to make sure that I'm up with the times as far as what developers are doing and why they're doing them and how fans are reacting to it.
Right.
And it was less
Boomer.
that the graphics weren't good. It's just that the things that they did to the game are not what they said they would. It wasn't as promised. Like the cinematic reveal that they, I don't remember. I think it was E3 or something that came out.
BlizzCon.
If you watch the BlizzCon that they watched, that they sent as for the marketing, was 1,000 times better than what actually ended up coming out in the product. On top of the fact that the issue for most people is that they, with remaster, as that happens, they just want to see improved graphics usually. But there's changes to core mechanics that some of the OG fans are really pissed about because of the fact that if you even had the original game, now the new mechanics are implemented and there's no way to go back. So if they don't like it, they're just screwed. They can't. The game that they really love, they're going to end up having to create servers or how Dota came from this as kind of, but now Blizzard is trying to keep that from happening again. So they're within the terms and agreement, they are now copywriting anything anybody does
banning mods
with the content from their game. So any mods are their property now. So it's one of those things where
that was the only thing that struck me as problematic. Because I don't know, that was the magic of games like that, or any game that can be modded. It allows people to show off what they can do and their creativity. It's not whether it's making the game better or just reimagining the game, you're still gonna have to buy the game to be able to do that. But then here
roleplay is a good example of that.
Yeah, and here Blizzard's this happened in the past and Dota came about and that's a huge game now, so we should just copyright everything that anybody ever makes, so if anything comes out, we can make money off it. Mm-hmm. Which I can understand that logic from, if you just lay it out, sure. But it stifles the creativity of gamers, and this allows people to do what they want to do, express themselves, and hopefully get a job by making a game that they want to make because they've been provided awesome tools by what used to be a great company.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly, and that's what they're saying is when this a lot of them. Oh my gosh, words are hard right now. A lot of the issues for a lot of people is they said that, with this remastering, reimagining, they felt like a group of dedicated modders with the amount of time and resources that they had could have done a better job. It's not necessarily that the actual developers themselves are not good developers of games. It's that, once again, the big wigs at the top are making calls based on money, and they don't really understand their market base, and they're just telling these talented developers what to do when that may not actually be what the community wants around it.
And so that's worked out every time, right?
Yeah, right. Totally. You know, just, I don't know. It just, at some point you wish that these bigger companies would kind of learn, because eventually they're just going to alienate their bases so much that they're going to lose out on future revenue with this. Just start listening to the people that care about the products you're making, and you will be more successful in the future, you know, because they care. That's not a bad thing. You know, certain voices you have to block out, but like, you're not listening at all.
You get hyped for Warcraft 3 Reforged, but what you get is Warcraft 3 Refunded.
Refunded. I've seen that logo that they made.
It's such a sad thing. But as somebody who never, you know, I honestly never looked at the ads or anything, I had to do the same thing with like Kingdom Hearts or Death Stranding and all that, because I feel like, especially with Kojima, bless him, they really love giving you as much information as possible. With Kojima, it's nonsensical for the most part, because he hands you like, you know, 15 pieces that, you know, look amazing, but it's a 5,000 piece puzzle. So it's like, what the hell's going on? But I just wanted the, you know,
I like
Warcraft 3. What's that?
I like those. That's wonderful.
So since I didn't hear anything about Warcraft 3 Reforged and I went in fresh, it looked improved. I was enjoying it. I still am. But there's so much hate that's coming from this game, and shocker, it's, you know, it's the Blizzard fan base. So, I mean, what else did I expect? But unfortunately, some people aren't enjoying it. I think it's discouraging friends and other players from buying it. And obviously, one of the most important aspects of Warcraft 3 was the ability to have multiplayer games with other friends and whatnot. So my choice is essentially do the campaign and be done with it, or play with a bunch of people that are probably, you know, becoming tryhards as we speak and plotting my doom anytime I try to join a map with them. And so, you know, kind of burnt me a little bit. And the sucky part is, I have no idea if I should be upset at Blizzard. Should I be upset at Activision? Should I be upset at the fan base? It's like, it's you know, a little bit in each direction, and it's tough. But yeah, Warcraft 3 Reforged in a nutshell. Also played a little bit over the past couple of nights of Ocarina of Time randomizer once again. I'm back to that old ship. Was I doing a randomizer when you were here, Glenn?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
For those who don't know, people love Ocarina of Time. People love Link to the Past and all that. And some people play it so much that it starts to get a little bored. So what better way to, you know, fix that than, you know, play a new game? Hell no. They just randomize every single item in the chest instead, and make you travel across the world and try to find every chest so you can progress with the game. And add an extra layer on top of that, we were playing what is called multi-world. I was playing it with Brandon, where essentially if you open a chest, you know, I might open a chest over in the first dungeon, the Deku tree, and all of a sudden I get the Megaton Hammer. Like, what the? I have no use for this. But the Megaton Hammer is actually Brandon's Megaton Hammer. So I gave him a Megaton Hammer. So him and I are playing different versions of the same world, where we open up chests trying to give each other items so we can continue progressing.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So
yeah, because randomizers are set up to be like puzzles, essentially. When you're not doing a multi-world, when you're not doing a multi-world, where it's just you playing a randomizer, it's all set up in a way where you can complete the game, you just have to figure out the puzzle. But with the multi-world, it's like a whole other layer added on top, because now it's the items from both games mixed into each other, and it's just one.
I'm depending on Brandon to be just as good of a randomizer player as I am, and we did pretty good. He got the boomerang where I got the slingshot, but the problem is, though, since neither of us got the ocarina, he couldn't access Zora's domain, but I was able to, once I got bombs, able to do the first 2 child dungeons, which was great. We hit a point, though, that led to a problem, and I think we found the source of it, because basically there's a bunch of websites where you can like check off, yeah, I did this grotto, yes, I opened up this chest, because it can be any chest, not just a chest that you find at the end of the puzzle, because there's so many grottos in Ocarina of Time that sometimes you don't even know or notice. And like buying from those Deku shrubs also can give you a random item, so there's a lot of nooks and crannies you got to check. Like there's a lot of chests that I've never noticed a day in my life, and the Deku tree, the tree that you've gone through so many times easily, because usually it's like compass, map, slingshot, you're good to go. But it's like, well, actually, there's that one chest at the very bottom that gives you a single heart for some reason. There's a chest that's hidden up to the left of the compass. There's a chest hidden up to the left of not the compass, the map. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. We hit a point to where we did all the checkpoints. We didn't get a new item that allowed us to continue, and we got really nervous because there's only one last thing that we could think of that we need to do in order to give each other an item or get our own items, and that is golden sculptulas. Because and so him and I, we usually set it up to where it's like the maximum sculptulas you need in a playthrough for something like this is 10. 20 if we're feeling, a little dangerous. But he forgot to tick that, and so it can go up to 50. And so him and I are going to have a little talk about, where all the golden sculptulas that we can access this early in the game, and try to get to the 20 and see if that can give us some progress, because I don't want to do 50 sculptulas before I even get the Master Sword, because that's scary. That's scary, yo. And we were hoping, just in case, maybe check the spoiler log, just to make sure we're on the right track. We didn't accidentally miss something, but we actually didn't make a spoiler log, so this is going to be as much troubleshooting as one could possibly ask for, but we're having a good time. It was fun, getting a kick out of it. It's been a little bit of a weird process because you got to use certain programs to link each other over the internet and all that, and if you do like a weird action, or if you look at the corner the wrong way, for some reason it'll just randomly disconnect you, and that's a little frustrating. It's just been really weird about it. Plus, in this version of the emulator and all that we're using, loading save states, because I'm not going to be able to do the slingshot challenge at Castletown perfectly every single time, and I don't want to be a broke son of a gun. That will randomly lock up the game. So it's like a Russian roulette whether or not we want to use save states or not, or we got to start the entire emulator over. And much as I love running from Link's house all the way back to Castletown every single time, that's a deal breaker for me. It's like, ugh. Yeah, we're having fun. We both beat the first 2 dungeons. He needs the ocarina to be able to access Jabu Jabu, and I need a boomerang in the first place anyways, so we're both just trying to get ocarinas, and at that point it's either we finish the child dungeons or we progress as an adult and see what chaos we can continue. But until then, the golden sculptulas elude us. But that's enough about me. I think the focus should be turning onto the guests of the show. Yeah. Alex, Sam, you guys are video gamers first and foremost, but you're also the developers of Squidlit.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Ow! That is a game.
Yep.
It certainly is a game.
Would you say that's one of your biggest accomplishments as, I guess your career, technically?
We were creaking our chairs around. What was the first couple words of that sentence? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was asking if you felt like Squidlit was probably one of your bigger accomplishments.
Oh probably, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's amazing because, and I totally understand this, the final product sometimes, it's like, it looks great from the front when you're sitting in the theater seat, but from, in the background, it's like, oh God, please let the coding of this work. Oh God, please let this work here. Because it's like, if not, it's like, oh man, I gotta recompile everything after just moving something over a little bit. When you finally get all those pieces working together.
The the book boss, Grimoire.
Yeah, people seem to like that one, and I'm glad, because trouble.
Oh man.
It's like 16, maybe 18 separate objects that are just like kind of woven together, and if any one of them goes wrong, then
there's a massive hiccup, and then the whole game just crushes it on itself.
Yeah.
So how was the process of learning to design Squidlit?
I started it while Sam was in college, and I didn't know how to code, and I didn't know how to draw and I'd never really made music before.
Oh, man.
And so
We have so much in common suddenly.
Scratch.
yeah, just point of complete inexperience. And so that's part of the reason the game that's 30 minutes long took a year, is because, you know,
learning everything as you go.
6 months in, you look back at the work that you did at the beginning and you're like, I need to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. I totally understand.
Well-trained
that.
eyes at that point.
Yeah.
So it took you a year to have it completed then? Or did
Yeah.
it take holy smokes. And
That's actually really impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Learning completely from scratch and everything to getting a fully completed game. Especially with your goals of innovation with making it a Game Boy-esque game.
Yeah, I am.
The Game Boy, like choosing it to be Game Boy was more of, I think in the beginning, more of a choice to like maybe make it seem a little easier to tackle.
A little bit of that. Just constraints are good for creativity, and so just what's more constraining than the Game Boy?
Right, make it work on like a base case that's as simple as possible, and then build up if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was the Game Boy aesthetic the reason why that it was because of that you set that because you wanted to put constraints on yourself to make sure you have like a goal to not limit your creativity per se, but give you like a goalpost to reach for versus like
I mean,
where to stop.
like if you have infinite space to go out and do things, then you'll never. I mean, if there's an infinite amount out there, you'll never track down any one thing and then see it through to the end. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like,
Right, there needs to be a marker, there needs to be a milestone for you to kind of keep focus a little bit. Yeah. I'm just curious as to what language do these games run on usually?
We use the Game Maker engine.
Yeah, which
Okay.
uses its own language called GML.
Okay.
That's
We hear from
actually
our coder
crazy.
friend that it's pretty low down there.
Yeah, it's as basic of a language as you can find nowadays.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It doesn't do much to help you out.
No.
But the engine itself does. Like you can middle click any function, and it'll bring up like essentially a wiki style page on it.
And it tells
Nice.
you like exactly how the function works and everything you can do with it.
Good.
And that's
Okay.
that's what has made it so like able to be done.
Yeah, like there's a version of it that's woefully like non-existent, pretty much. But that's kind of messed around in Unity. But
Mm-hmm.
2D in Unity was, at least at the time, was not something I wanted to deal with. I just wanted an engine that worked
sounds
with 2D.
scary.
And so Game Maker was the only one that worked with 2D and had the number of features that I needed it to have.
Right. I only asked because I started my university degree in comp sci, computer science. So,
Cool.
I was just wondering what would be the starting point for people who wanted to get into like making games just very basic, but didn't really understand code. Because if you don't understand code and all of a sudden you start pulling in libraries or references, or you like go into Stack Overflow, it's just numbers and letters and brackets and colons and semicolons, and you're like, all right, cool, I understand everything now. No, you don't. So that's good. I'm glad that there is, even though it might be a basic or a simpler software that helps with understanding what each function does and how like things work together. That's awesome.
Yeah. And highly recommend GML because it's so well documented in the engine.
Nice.
The Game Maker Studio engines are like, I extremely heavily recommend it to someone who wants to think about being a game designer, because since it's so well documented and they have tutorials made by the people who made the engine, that helps you get a grasp on the basics of like programming and game design and like how to think things through in a programming mindset to get this creature or whatever to do what you want it to do.
Yeah. And it's also $70 and they don't take a cut of your profit, unlike Unity and Unreal.
That's another great thing about it.
That's
Flat fee.
actually very nice.
Yeah.
That's super nice.
Just a nice flat fee.
The Switch version was significantly more expensive. I think
Oh, yeah.
that was $800, so
Yeah.
that's but yeah.
And we'll have to pay that every year. But that's understandable because there's a lot of complicated stuff that goes into putting a game on the Switch.
And they're keeping it active and available in their library and all that stuff.
Yeah. And that's also very well documented.
It's something that Nick and I noticed almost immediately once we started the game up was the music, which I'm assuming is like a completely different accomplishment on its own. Now, I'm assuming one of you two decided to get really into learning how to make chiptune.
That was me. I got actually I have a friend named Caleb, and his father runs an art museum here in town, and he had a LSDJ cartridge, and I borrowed it from him and wrote the theme for Blipston on it, and from there I eventually bought my own cart and transcribed it over to there and tidied it up and stuff, and everything was made on that LSDJ cartridge, and like each instrument was recorded individually, and so like there's technically like the computer thinks there's 3 songs playing at once.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll cut them in and out just so that sound effects can play properly like a Game Boy. So it'll turn off one of the musics, like play an explosion, and then turn that music back on.
That's holy smokes. I didn't even notice that, or like realize that, or have that put together. That's crazy. And how long do you say, or how long do you think it took for you to make your first song on the LSD?
Oh god, the first one took a long time, but after that, it got a little faster.
Right, growing pains. Like you figured out, like, all right, this is what this does. This is what this does. And,
yeah.
Do either of you have any like musical background prior to this, just in general, playing instruments or such?
Sam played the tuba.
Oh yeah, I played
tuba man.
I just played this whole mishmash of instruments growing up, and I ended up sticking with tuba the longest.
Okay, so but just in general, no like musical training, no like musical background, and then you came out with that awesome banger of a track from Squid Squad's Castle.
Nick, you underestimate the brass section, okay?
Alex actually has some training in music.
I played violin all through late middle school through the end of high school, and I went to a Savannah Arts Academy, which is an art school, and my major was violin.
Wow.
Okay, so understanding of music theory helps then.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. We'll fight you. The moment you try to disconnect, I was gonna say, it's like, well, I played baritone and tuba back in the day, so it's like, when he said tuba, I'm like, my man.
Yeah.
But then Nick's like, well, so you didn't have any actual musical experience. I'm like, well, listen.
No,
here,
that's not what I'm saying. We're talking about musical composition. It's very different from playing.
True.
In general.
But it's a good baseline for sure.
Yeah.
I took a music comp class in high school.
No, it like I think me and Tyler really gushed over the fact that the music is what really got us.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Oh my!
Because it was just great. It truly felt like it made me think of all the Game Boy games I used to play growing up, and I'm like, this is really nice. And now I'm playing this on my PC, and it feels the same, but it feels full. Like the music feels complete. The restrictions are still that it's 8-bit or whatever 16-bit channels, and you're using that, but then it still feels like there's depth to the music. Like there's bass and there's middles and there's I was like, this is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
For me, back in the day, I used to work with a program called Finale, which you guys
I use that.
Okay, it sounds like you've heard of it. And I used to make my music and whatnot using sheet composition, all that stuff back in the day. And so, that's me as an amateur. So when I picked up this game and realized it was a passion project, I'm like, okay, they probably worked a little bit on the music. But when I heard it, being able to listen to that kind of music with a handheld device, since I played the Switch version of Squidlit, it was professional. Like, there was no way to like counter it. It's like, for me, the big example always has been Pokemon. Like you can hear the block music to this day in your head if you think about it. Like when you walk in the Pokemon Center and all that stuff, And this hit the same exact context. And so I was just, sitting there, I was like, I had to sit there at the time, like, holy smokes, this is, and I'm just sitting there listening, put the Switch down, you just listen to it, and it's like, holy crap, they nailed the bass beat down and everything. Because, maybe you expect like a simple one file tune, but the fact that you're able to add the extra sound effects, you had a foreground, you had the background, and then you had what sounded like a third composite melody that worked with it in some of the films, or not the film, the music, especially like during the laboratory theme was pretty.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite.
And so being able to hear all that done professionally, and I only paid $2 for it, it's like,
Oh,
I love the OST of this game.
thank you very much.
No problem. Sorry, now I'm getting embarrassed because I just realized, like, I'm saying this, but I'm saying this to the person that made the darn thing. Was there any games that you guys played like right before this that kind of helped inspire you to make Squidlit what it is? Because I believe you, Alex, you were the person that enjoyed drawing Squidlits since you were of a young age.
Oh yes.
But I'm assuming you probably didn't know it was going to be a platformer right from the get-go. Maybe the inspiration was just for the simplicity of being able to design the game, but was there any kind of games that gave you kind of an inspiration to what created it?
We kind of used Kirby's Dream Land as a benchmark for like what size.
I didn't want to say it.
Oh yeah. for like for mostly like the size of the game, like how big a game that has that level of just kind of stuff in it, how long it should take. Most games on the Game Boy didn't have a save feature, and so it was like, how long should a game without a save feature be?
Yeah.
And like, how much stuff can you do with it?
Right.
Before, someone has to leave it.
And I believe I said, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to ramble unless you stop.
No, go ahead.
No, you're more important in this.
Oh dear. But like the inking down mechanic was mostly like a process of elimination. It was like there's a whole bunch of platformers out there, and a lot of them, what do you do once you're over your enemy? And like there hasn't really been one that I've found, at least, where you aim downwards with your shots and can't do anything else but aim downwards.
Right.
Zero G-Man or Low G-Man on the NES has you stab a spear downwards, but that's the only one I could find. So now, it's kind of a process of elimination.
With Super Squidlit, if you're able to talk about this, have you guys considered any kind of different methods of abilities that our character would be able to have?
Oh yes, we have several new things for Super Squidlit that we're very excited to talk about. One of them is that Plip is going to have a new ability to roll forwards.
Nice.
And she's going to be able to use that to like bonk enemies over, like
knock them down.
Like invulnerable enemies, you'll be able to knock them over and then ink on them.
Okay, so almost Donkey Kong style.
A little bit. You every time you hit something, you recoil diagonally up.
Okay.
And so it puts you in the air, and you can ink from there. And you can also use it to climb walls.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to climb walls now?
Yeah, by like rolling into it over and over again.
Like Mario style. Like wall climbing.
You don't have to jump off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just bash it and recoil, and then bash it again, and then recoil.
Okay.
That visual picture just reminds me of shell jumping a little bit.
Like
closest analogy.
Running it hits the wall, goes up a diagonal a little bit, but then you do another horizontal strike against the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good deal. Thank you. Because like my one big complaint essentially against the game, and thank you for being patient with me when I say this, was just having the one singular attack felt a little bit frustrating. It felt like it was simple for what it was, but if you want to introduce like a different variety of enemies that have different weak spots, it felt like you would need to have something else in the long run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, since the game's like 3 hours now, it'd be weird if you had like the one move to use for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's fair. And when is Super Squidlit gonna be following the a similar style of aesthetic with the Game Boy?
Yes, it's in color though, so it's emulating the or simulating the Game Boy color.
Good deal. Oh boy! And then Super Duper Squidlit Game Boy Advance. Now we're cooking.
How did you learn that name?
Oh shit! The guy wants to know your location.
I did have a question. So I browsed through the Steam page for Squidlit, and I noticed there was one user who had about 300 hours in the game.
Oh yeah, yeah, we know who that is.
What?
So I was just curious. I'm assuming he might be maybe a massive outlier. I was just curious as to what kind of expectations you guys had for how people would react and how the game would perform, and how do you feel about somebody having 300 hours in your game?
That was most likely
that is definitely
Nuclear or Jackson.
He's the current world record holder for the Squidlit speedrun.
And what is that?
It's 8 minutes
and 59 seconds, I think.
Holy shit!
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't even say smokes to that. That's a holy shit.
Yeah.
He was in GDQ about a month ago.
Yeah,
With Squidlit?
Yeah, he managed to bring Squidlit
Nice.
to the awesome games done quick.
Yeah.
We're very proud of him.
Yeah, he did really well.
There's different sides of the coin as how does the developer feel about their game being speedrun? Because I think I watched a video of the developers for the game. Have you heard of Outer Worlds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The game can take anywhere up to I think 30 hours or whatnot, and someone speedrunned it in I believe 12 minutes, and it was so bizarre for them to watch them make this gigantic work be done in under 20 minutes. So it was just it threw them off. Holy crap, I didn't know you could do that. So I wasn't sure how you're going to respond to somebody saying, hey, I can beat your game even faster than imaginatively possible.
Well, I'm frankly happy that they're getting any sort of replayability out of a linear 30 minute to an hour long game,
Yeah, 300 hours though. Jeez, if they're doing
that's a lot of practicing.
Sub 10 minute runs, that's almost 300 playthroughs or 3,000.
Because I know there's what do you call it? There's an achievement for doing a run under 12 minutes. Was it?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, okay, cool. Maybe he was trying to get that achievement, but I didn't know that he actually took it to GDQ.
It's more like that achievement was made to give to him. We saw
that achievement and he's like, I'm gonna beat that.
You got achievement. Well, it is.
We have a. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just I was getting jealous because I don't think there's any kind of trophy system for it on Switch. But now,
there's no trophy system on the Switch that we're aware of. But
they got me thinking.
We might make our own kind of. We have our own kind of reward system for Super Squidlit.
Okay.
For finding hidden objects and collectibles and unlocking some rewards for that.
And how far along would you say Super Squidlit is coming?
75%.
Yeah, I'd say we're about 75 to 80% done with the game. We have the final boss to flesh out and get ready to go, and then it'll just be furious polishing and music making.
Yeah.
And have you guys considered doing, or maybe you guys have this and I'm not aware, have you guys considered doing anything like Kickstarter or Patreon or anything like that for this game?
We thought about it. We thought about Kickstarter, and we don't want to try out Kickstarter simply because we feel like there's a lot of people who've been burned by doing a Kickstarter game and not seeing it realized in the way they want.
Right.
We have talked about doing a Patreon though, and maybe after we do Super Squidlit and having videos that will show phases of the development progress and how we make certain enemies and that kind of stuff.
Hey, if I could pay $10 a month and have Tyler the Squidlit, and we can work this out. But the main reason why I think that is $800 is a lot for a year to have it on the Switch. That's that's a price. And with Squidlit being, at a very, very, reasonably cheap price, it just seems like there's got to be some way to help keep the dream alive, because
it's like it's $800 for like the license, and then you're allowed to use the license for a year to produce a Switch title.
Yeah, since Squidlit was already done and Super Squidlit is almost done, we're gonna get it off the same 800. So.
Oh, thank goodness.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I hope so. Like,
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So essentially, the $800, basically, like if you were to have 20 games, you could run off that $800 for that 1 year to put games on the Switch.
Yeah.
Theoretically, yeah.
Oh, wow, cool.
I think it'd be cheaper than them taking a cut. Like if they took like a 30% cut or something, like some engines might, or I don't know how much other engines take, but
yeah,
I think it's an okay deal. Yeah,
it sounds like it. Yeah. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say, are you gonna try to get Super Squidlit on the Switch alongside?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the goal. We've
down
been
for
very, very happy with how Squidlit has performed on the Switch.
I'm glad. Hopefully things have been working out well for you in that direction, because a lot of indie developers have said that sometimes it feels like they're getting ready to put in the towel. But the moment they released it on the Switch, suddenly it got such a huge uprising that it's actually been able to fund them to keep going.
Yeah.
The big game in mind was Blossom Tale, which was the amount of Steam. Link to the Past clone was moderately successful for the developer, but it wasn't until they got on Switch that it took a huge jump. It worked out for them. So
nostalgia. Nostalgia is powerful, especially when
powerful.
Now with the Switch Lite, and it's even smaller form factor, and then you can still play like retro games on it wherever you are.
This is a question I wrote in bold, even though I already got the answer, but hopefully we can work something out here. Where can we get merchandise for Blip, or just Squidlit? Is it Blip or
it's Plip?
Plip. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my mental image, and for some reason the B was upside down, or I had it the wrong way up. Plip. Where can we get merchandise? Where can we get stuffed Plips?
Well,
I wish we could make stuffed Plips.
Yeah,
the moment we can, we will.
Currently it's like if we wanted to do a line, we'd have to get like 5,000 plushies shipped to our house, and then
because they only do wholesale.
And so we just simply don't have the time to do it.
I feel like A, that would be expensive. B, that's a lot of Plips, and I'm like, I can say it's like that might be heaven.
Like Scrooge McDuck into him.
Honey, there needs to be a mandatory 500 Plips in the bed before I go to sleep. You're like trying to take a shower, and it's like, oh, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Heck, even like stickers or stuff. Have you guys considered like going with Redbubble to make like a Plip sticker or anything like that? Or
I would like to do something like that. I just frankly we're new to all this, and we don't really know where to go.
No, that's fair. You guys are focused on the game. I'm just focused on like trying to get as much as I can of Squidlit like to me ASAP. Like I'm the kind of guy that's like I play the game, the next day I'm wearing the t-shirt kind of thing. So, but I guess the final question about the game itself with Super Squidlit, and with your experience with the first game Squidlit, is there anything you would recommend to aspiring game developers who are struggling to finish their game? Like we talked with Nick here a little bit about the idea of like getting it started using Game Maker as a platform. Is there anything you guys could recommend?
The number one thing I can recommend is like what most game developers struggle with, and I saw this a good bit when I was getting my degree at the Arts Institute for Game Design, is that they'll choose an initial project that is just way too big and
overambitious.
Like, yeah, it's and even if you make something tiny and then get it out and have some feedback on it, that's perfectly okay. And just
that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, focusing on like completing small things and working your way up is one of the safest ways to go.
Okay. I'll all I got left is personal questions. Unless Nick, Glenn, do you have anything you want to throw at the table here? Because Glenn, I know you've been a quiet boy over here, but
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about game development. I'm just soaking it in. So I'm just happy to listen more than anything, because especially because one of my favorite games is something that was developed by a small team. Stardew Valley was made by a guy, and so like,
Yeah.
I really admire the small game developer and love hearing the insights that come from you about the struggles and the most rewarding parts. So it's been very, very nice to see behind the curtain a little bit. So,
Oh, I forgot to mention something about like starting with a game development project. As soon as you add one person to the team, you need to have a design Bible. And what I mean by that is like you need to have a master document that has everything that everyone knows about the intellectual property. Yeah. And that's one thing that we very quickly discovered when we started working with each other full time.
Yeah.
We had to stop like everything and ask each other questions and discuss this and discuss super Squidlit or like Squidlit psychology or things like this. And
Squid Squat's more of a main character this time around.
yes,
and so
will be playable in Super Squidlit.
oh boy,
Ooh,
day.
yay.
And I also forgot to mention there will be drop in, drop out 2-player in all of Super Squidlit.
Oh,
did you see
Yeah.
all of our heads go, huh?
it's like,
yeah, we probably
oh
bit off a
shit!
bit more than we could chew, but we're chewing it.
We're too deep now.
Please,
so we
we're
gotta
not
finish.
worthy. If you can get us co-op, holy smokes, that would be awesome.
We're working on it. Yeah. You want to?
If you can't,
Sure.
if you need to retract that, that's okay. I respect it. But you got our eyes lit up like no other business. Like,
If it doesn't come out on release, it'll be part of the expansion pass, right?
yeah,
What is it, the season pass?
Probably the weirdest thing and the heftiest thing that we probably shouldn't have bitten off, but we bit it. And the Squid Squat playable section is a first-person shooter RPG. Done up in the Game Boy style.
Yeah.
Like Faceball 2000.
oh
Yes!
Oh my goodness.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
we first started working on this. Like Alex was interested in I think it was like Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah, I love old first-person shooters.
And so like we had to abandon where we were living because of an old mold infestation for like a few weeks. And we were at this beach house, this beach condo, and this Alex worked on creating a raycasting system to have first person like sections for Squid Squat. And it was just a first person system in Game Maker. And once we saw it, we were like, "Oh, we
gotta use this.
This has to be in Super Squidlit somehow." And that's how we got onto this.
I believe.
No, there's no textures on the walls.
No, yeah, it's a very simple thing.
Yeah.
I was joking about this with Nick. I think in the review episode, like I feel like they're gonna do like add silly things, like do some kind of Dr. Robotnik's like a Puyo Puyo style game with Mean Bean Machine or something like that. So, I was expecting to say something, but when you told me a first-person shooter with Squid Squat, it's like, God Emperor. Sorry, pardon me.
Yeah! Now, don't get me wrong. I love platformers. I grew up on them. Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. That's my generation, at least the PS2. But then the fact that I can play a platformer and also at some point have an FPS I'm you've already bought me.
So,
Can we pre-order right now?
Just take my money, damn it.
Yeah. Blank check. So, just a couple of personal questions, and just want to lay them off here and there. Do Squidlits, does Plip like ketchup?
Yeah, she likes ketchup. I think she'd eat them on eggs, maybe.
Yeah.
Good.
And
I don't know why that came up, but it was like a very important question when we were discussing the review. It's like, do you think, does Plip like ketchup? And it's like,
well, probably.
I hope so. Yeah, sure. Maybe it was kind of like Pikachu, with Pikachu's fascination with ketchup in that one episode in the.
Yeah.
That was such a sad scene when that ketchup bottle broke.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys play D&D. What's your favorite class and race?
Let's see. I'm having a lot of fun playing a pixie barbarian.
What in the world? A tiny creature that gets
They have
really
not
angry?
introduced a pixie into 5th edition yet. They had it in 4th edition. I love that so much.
So like Alex's first character was a subtype of human called an Oread, which is this humans who have like ancestry with earth elementals or earth aspected genies.
Genasi! Sorry.
Yeah. And she was playing a Holy Shield Paladin, which specializes in like massive armor class. And
got up to 40.
Yeah, she got up to an armor class of 40 in Pathfinder. And I was like, okay, so we played with that character's name was Toop. And Toop played with us for a good while, but we started to have issues where like since it was a party of paladins, all of their saves were just way too high for spells to work most of the time. And Toop's armor class was also so high that nothing could hit her in melee combat.
Oh my god.
So
Okay, so I know nothing about Pathfinder. I'm still new to D&D. So is the armor class system in Pathfinder and D&D similar?
Yes.
not really.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Like,
It's just scaled differently. So
Yeah,
like
it's-
40 would be the equivalent of like a 20, 22 or
Okay,
so. In
that's
5th
still
edition.
pretty high.
That's still
It's
pretty
really
high.
high.
And maybe
Yeah,
25 even.
yeah.
Like it's really high. Yeah.
in Pathfinder, like average armor classes begin to cap out at around the 25 to 30 range for high level stuff. And if you push it hard, you can get it up to like the 35 to 40 range. The highest armor class I've ever seen done was actually a rogue duelist with an armor class of 45, but had an armor class of 50 if they were moving. But they were dual wielding, so they had no shield, and they were wearing leather armor.
Yeah.
So
Dexterous as hell.
Is this fucking Naruto?
Yeah,
Every time you hit him, it's a piece of wood. Jeez.
It's just what's his Gen or Neji, who does like the 1,000 palms technique. Just you can't touch me.
Yeah.
8 trigrams, 64 palm.
There it is.
Anyway, Toop was a bad tank because nothing would attack her. Because they just would try once and then quit.
It's just a Sherman
Yeah, like-
tank that strolls in ever since.
Yeah, then like her damage output was also like on the very, very low end. So like monsters would just ignore her because she was just this walking ball of metal that they just couldn't hurt. So they just ignore her.
Sounds accurate.
We orchestrated Toop's death to a barbarian assassin that specializes in breaking equipment. And
Oh, that's evil. I love it.
And after we did that, Alex began playing the Pixie Barbarian, which specializes as a Titan Mauler.
Yeah, and so like if I fight something bigger than me, which is usually for a
Everything,
normal size
all the
class,
time.
is like
Is it a bug?
yeah.
I was gonna say a gnome. Your time is now, giant.
Yeah.
So everything's a titan to her, so she gets benefits to fighting everything.
Yeah.
And she like we did a mythic thing, so she has mythic ranks. And my most recent thing was that I took out a cave. Like I can do this thing where I crash through walls, and if I crash through enough wall, I can actually cause a cave in. And
Yeah, the Pathfinder has mythic levels, and I wanted to start throwing heavier duty monsters at them because they were kind of melting things a little too fast. So I gave them a mythic level so they could actually survive mythic monsters. And the issue that I didn't see was that a mythic barbarian can use multiple abilities while they're out in their barbarian rage to upgrade their strength to phenomenal levels.
that's the one-time thing.
It's-
Like I get until I level, I only get so many uses of this.
Yeah, and so
Oh my
she
gosh.
blew almost all of them all at once to take out this boss. She was like, I'm going to use my crash through walls
This is my
ability.
Disney
on
movie.
the
I need a
boss."
moment.
And so she boosted, if I remember right, she boosted her strength modifier to like 30 or or 35, which means her
I remember my
strength
strength was 60.
Yeah, strength score was 60 when she used this when she used all these abilities to boost her strength.
I burned like every one of my abilities.
And so she like no, I had to like take a moment to like figure out how am I going to do this. And so like this little like 1 foot tall fairy just like goes off like a freaking cannon shot and just goes straight through solid cave wall.
It's like 15, 20 feet of solid
like
cave
20
wall.
feet of solid cave wall, which is the thickest wall in the cave, and she just blasts straight through it. So I'm like, well, I guess this cave is going to collapse. And since the cave collapsed, it was actually a cave underneath the city, and so like a city block caved down. So it was a nightmare. But
It's so silly, I love it.
It sounds like California found a new reason to blame the sinkholes.
That's Alex's favorite character, I think.
Pretty fun.
I just always forget how like different systems scale differently. Because when I played primarily in 4th edition to start back in like the early 2000s, and so I played a little 3.5. Actually, the first tabletop game I played was the Star Wars game from like the 1970s.
Awesome.
Oh man.
And so like I had just a very vast experience. I played a little Pathfinder. It wasn't my cup of tea. It's very deep. That hole was very deep, and I was just like,
Pathfinder is very hard. Like one of the reasons edition is because I just can't do it anymore.
Well, and that's the thing is I worked at a comic book store here in Burbank, and like, have you seen the flight tiers? I think they're called that are made by Paizo.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, yeah, the guy that owns this comic book store that I worked at, like, they're partners with Paizo, and he made those combat tiers for flighted characters. And so they were all about Pathfinder, and they brought me into a game, and I was a wizard, and they were like, and it was just not what I expected, and I was completely useless.
Oh, no.
Playing wizard is really hard in Pathfinder.
Yeah, Now, the thing they did was really cool. Every Halloween, they have this evil guy who, like, tries to find a way out of this, like, planar prison, and it's always different. He uses like Hallows Eve's energy to try and get out. And so like there's always a new thing. And every year they do it and have groups come in and they can score points playing the game. And so whoever finishes it fast gets all of these benchmarks. Like if you win, you get like a $100 gift card to use at the store, you know? And so but it encourages people to come in and play at the table at the store. So like, anyway, they were all about Pathfinder. So I love that you guys love that. But I'm really excited for you guys to jump into 5th edition because it's another very, very fun way to, you know, enjoy creating a story with a group of people. So, like the best man at my wedding was the guy that taught me how to play D&D. So, like, I feel that. When you were like, my parents met at the table, I was like, oh my God, isn't he magical?
Damn, do you have a favorite class or race? I know you're probably usually the DM, aren't you?
Yes, I've played, like, I use heavy quotation marks with played because I'm including my DM time. Yeah. But I've played D&D for 20 years, and I've been DMing for 10 of those. So I'm very much resigned myself to the forever DM class. But
DM. I feel that.
Yeah, there was this one time where I played a kobold, and this kobold was a wizard or a sorcerer. I think it was sorcerer because we were playing Pathfinder.
Ooh, that's cool.
And just wizards in Pathfinder are too unwieldy for me to handle. But I played a kobold wizard, and her name was Squid Squat, and this is actually where Squid Squat comes from.
Sounds familiar.
And Squid Squat was this kobold who believed that she was an emperor of the gods. So she ran around with her like massive charisma score and absolute like trash intelligence. And she would like run up to like kings and go and scream in Draconic because that was the holy language of her own religion that she had herself as the deity of. Because she worshipped herself naturally. But
oh yes,
of course.
She would go up to kings and scream at them in Draconic, like, I am your god emperor, bow down before me. And I would strike a pose at the table and everything. And just like the DM would run these positions of power where they would like everyone would see my character as this little insane kobold. because no one understood Draconic. So, so they all just let it slide. And as these people in power let it slide, she would begin to like believe it herself until she was eventually like going up before like the avatars of gods and claiming that they bow down before her as the God Emperor, and they would just brush her off as an insane kobold.
That's wonderful.
And I got to the point where I actually converted Alex's character to worshiping her.
Yeah.
And I used Alex's character and my own character to write a Bible and pass it out to this
race of spider
to
people.
a race of spider people. We trade they trade their currency was based off of like shiny objects. And so I just destroyed their entire economic system by trading a mirror and said, "Here's my Bible. Become my missionary. Become my prophet upon this world." And the spider person was like, "All right, I guess I'll do this now."
Sweet. This is my
life.
life.
To gain like divine powers and stuff before the campaign ended. It was
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Nice.
And that's not exactly the Squid Squat from Squidlit, but that's that's her origin, her character origin, kind of like what she's based on. Is
she's changed drastically from that template, but now the Squid Squat from Squidlit is a much more level-headed person.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was curious to see the character development with Squid Squat and her place in
Changed to maniacal God King.
I mean, right now with the first-person shooter, I know this isn't the case, but I keep imagining like Shadow the Hedgehog with a Uzi or some crap, and so I hope that's not what happens with Squid Squat. I hope you don't give her a.
No,
she has spells.
Yeah, she has multiple spells, and she'll have she has a leveling up system, and you can unlock new spells, change her stats, upgrade the spells you have.
Yeah,
good deal. Let's just power through these last few questions, kind of as lightning round, if we could. You guys got a pair of lucky dice?
We do, or I do.
Yeah, they're unlucky to me.
I have,
as the player, you're like,
Yeah. I have specifically one D20 that is considered like every DM has that one dice that like always crits for them, and mine is this green D20 with runes on it. And like every time I roll it and it's an attack with a character, it seems to always roll 18, 19, or most likely 20.
Nice.
And
must be your best friend with that die.
That one dice has killed 4 characters on this one campaign so far.
Oh my lord.
So it's like a lot of times I'll forget I'm using it, and then I'll roll like 2 crits in a row, and I'm like, oh crap, I shouldn't use this one. And then I'll just move to a different dice.
That's crazy.
It's beautiful.
Anything? What about you, Alex? Do you have you said the lucky die she has is super unlucky for you?
That one's killed me before, but I only have one D20, and I don't know if it's lucky or not. Seems to be pretty normal.
Okay, fair enough. Do you guys got a favorite game?
Ooh, I really like Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, that's by far my favorite. There's not much that compares to Kingdom Hearts 2 in my mind.
One that knows nothing, we gain nothing. Sorry, I love quoting Xemnas from that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is quite the character.
I'd have to say one of my favorite games would honestly have to be the original EverQuest from she and I play that a lot. The Rise of Kunark, the Scars of Velius, and in a very unpopular opinion, the Shadows of Lucklin. And
the Shadows of what now?
The Shadows of Lucklin, which was an expansion that introduced the moon as a place you could go to, and it had a whole bunch of like balance readjustment to the mechanics, and a lot of people didn't like what they did. They tried upgrading the graphics from like 4 polygon heads to like full political models, and they didn't like that either. But I loved the original EverQuest because it seemed like I was like 9 or 10 years old at the time, but like it seemed so big. Like it was just such a big game, and I just I logged in and I was like, I will never see every inch of this world, and I still haven't. Like they have the Project 1999 private server, which I highly recommend. They're a very good group of guys, but it's just a really big game. It's very difficult. It's extremely difficult. Like you lose experience and your corpse keeps all of your items when you die, so you have to run back and go get it.
Okay. But, can other people
fun.
loot you if you're not back quick enough, or?
Well, I played on I made the terrible mistake of following a friend's advice and playing on the Ralos Zek server, which was a free-for-all PvP server.
Oh.
So everyone could attack everyone, and when you died, whoever killed you could loot your corpse and take all of the money you had on your corpse and one item that wasn't classified as a no-drop item.
That's no, thank you.
Yeah, so I
did not like that.
I did not like that at all. And
it took me 10 years
severely
to get into the
tainted
wilderness.
My opinion of PvPs ever since.
Absolutely, yeah. Screw that. No.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it for the main show here. So if you don't mind, is there anything that you'd like to say before we get to the part where we wrap this up in a pretty bow?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
it was
thank
a
you
lot
so
of fun.
much.
Oh, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for being here with us. I would say an honor almost. Sorry, I'm blushing. Nick, game releases.
Yes.
Show floor is all yours, buddy.
All right. So, coming out starting February 11th, we've got Yakuza 5 on the PS4 from the ever popular Yakuza series. Next up is Daemon X Machina, February 13th, finally making its way to PC after coming out on the Switch last year. Darksiders Genesis, February 14th, Valentine's Day, is getting its release on consoles. And the next few we have up here are also on Valentine's Day, the coming Friday. Darksiders Genesis is a Diablo-looking entry to the Darksiders series made by different developers, but same IP. We've got a game called Dreams coming out for the PS4. What do you know about this one, Tyler?
Absolutely nothing.
Nice.
Basically, it's to me, all I know it as basically a game maker or like a level maker, essentially, where you get to create your own little worlds. The reason why I'm excited for Dreams is just because during one of the ads for it or trailers, somebody recreated a little level for Dead Space in it, and I don't know what that entails. I don't know like if this is like a Gary's mod for the PlayStation 4 or what, but I hope so because again, trying to keep myself
I don't know what Dreams is, but like the only thing I've seen from it is there's this guy, and I saw a picture of it on Twitter, who remade a traditional like British fry-up breakfast, and it looked real. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I desperately want it.
I know, right? It's by the same people that made Little Big Planet, except instead of making it all cutesy and stuff, you can make a lot of stuff, and I don't know what can be done yet. I'm very excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the flavor text for it is: Dreams is an extraordinary, ever-expanding game universe from the award-winning Media Molecule, people that made Little Big Planet and Tearaway, where you can discover community-made games from around the world and learn to make your own. And so, like, as a person that really enjoyed Little Big Planet back in the day, specifically, I love playing the levels. I love creating levels because you could get so creative with the different things you could do in Little Big Planet. And this looks like a step forward for it. So I'm excited. I'm just super excited for it. It looks cute and a good breakaway. Plus, it's on Valentine's Day, so hopefully a little multiplayer in it. And lastly, Nick, there's one last game for Friday.
Yes, we've got a game called Snack World: The Dungeon Crawl Gold, February 14th, also on the Switch. This looks like a roguelike JRPG. and it seems to be the setting of the world uses snack names because you start off in a village called Tutti Frutti, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it looks like this is the Western release. So this has already made its appearance in Japan last year. So yeah, it's weird because I've never heard of this franchise, but apparently it's like there's a manga, there's an anime, there was a previous game that came out in 2017 for the 3DS. That was also a roguelike RPG. And Dungeon Crawl Gold actually came out in 2018. My bad. In Japan, so we're getting the worldwide release this Valentine's Day.
Good deal. And just to clarify a little bit for Yakuza 5. It's probably it's technically Yakuza 5 Kiwami. This game came out already, I believe, on either the PS2 or PS3. This is just the HD remake.
I see.
Well, in preparation.
Then my mistake.
No, I mean, I didn't put it up there. So, whoopsie. But yeah, Yakuza has been making a return to the PlayStation 4. This the 5th one after basically what happened was they released Yakuza 0 a few years ago. Everybody loved it. Everybody wanted to play Yakuza again. So rather than making them find the PS2 or PS3 version of it, they decided the HD port 1 through 5 over the past couple of years, and Yakuza 6 Song of Life came out, I believe, 2 years ago. So the bit of a dance around, but still pretty good games. So I just wanted to give it a good clarify. And Glenn, with the podcast coming out on Monday, February 10th, we have 3 people to celebrate birthdays with.
Oh, yay!
Oh.
Oh, you want me to do that?
I mean, if you want. Do you want
I would love to, because
it?
quite honestly, I saw that, and the second game on this list is something that's very near and dear to me.
Oh yeah, I had a hunch.
Because you probably saw my face and probably knew exactly why. Right around the time when I started getting into tabletop was when I started playing Champions of Norath, and it came out on the PS2 in 2004. It was a wonderful multiplayer game. I had to have the multi-tap for it because all my friends wanted to play it. If you know what a multi-tap is.
Oh yeah.
Hype yourself a little bit.
Was it 7? Can you do 7 players or 8 players with multi-tap?
It's 4 per multi-tap, so you could do up to 8 players depending on the game you were playing.
I didn't know that.
Oh man.
Yeah, you could hook up 2 multi-taps, but most games only went up to 4, so there was almost no need. Like I think same with Champions of Norath, it was up to 4, so you could hook up 2 multi-taps because of the 2 existing ports for that, but
right. Multi-tap on the PlayStation 1 for CTR.
16th birthday, Champions of Norath.
Wow. Sam and I love playing that.
Oh yeah.
Great game. And then we have a game that I'm not super familiar with, Loco Roco 2. Oh, yeah. And I assume it's on the list for a reason. Is this dear to one of you guys?
Yeah, I like Loco Roco.
I played the first one.
Yeah, the cute, funsy game for the PlayStation Portable. This is the second one, but yeah.
Oh, that's what PSP stands for?
Are we about to make the joke about PSP, Vita, and Wii U's being imaginary consoles that require loads of consoling to try to get it back?
Never heard of them.
Yeah,
what's that?
Okay. Nick's a victim here. He has Wii U amnesia.
And it's the 11th birthday of that game.
Yeah, happy 11th birthday to Loco Roco 2.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, Wario Land 2.
Wario Land 2?
Wario Land 2 can officially go to the bars, my friends.
Now, is that Wario Land 2 on the Virtual Boy or the Wario Land 2 on the Game Boy?
Game Boy Color.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but it can go out for drinks. Happy birthday to those games.
I wonder if Wario would drink.
I'm sure he would.
Probably.
Yeah. I bet he's a gin person.
Garlic gin.
No, he just seems like from everything I know about Wario, probably just straight up beer.
Cheap beer too, though, because he's very greedy. Like,
and then really quick too, so he gets really buzzed really quick.
I mean, the dude eats nothing but garlic, so I mean that makes sense.
Oh, garlic's so good.
And then Waluigi's probably like a barefoot wine or something like that because he's sophisticated.
Sophisticated. I'm sorry.
But sometimes times gets tough, so Wario's like, Waluigi, drink the wine out of the box.
Francia, all day.
All right, Sam, Alex, where can we find you on Twitter?
We're at Super Squidlit.
Yes, and you can find us there. We post most of our news there first, and that's where you'll be able to see links to trailers and all kinds of fun things as we announce more about Super Squidlit.
Right. Good deal. And I hope to hear more of the details. And please, if you need any Q&A, we got your back. We love the heck out of the first game. We're excited for the second one. You can find me on Twitter at 2timestyler, all letters, one word. Nick, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at LR11 or Twitter at LR11th. Glenn, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Glenn Houston. Glenn with 2 N's. Houston looks like Huston. And on Twitch at Razith, which is, for you two, our guests, that is the name of my first and most beloved D&D character. So, it's my Twitch handle. So, yeah, that's me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can check CMQ Casual Master Quest on Twitter at CMQ Network, or you can email us and give us spam and all that stuff at casualmasterquest@gmail.com. We haven't put it in text anywhere because we know the moment we do that, the spam bots have got us. So casualmasterquest@gmail.com. If voice to text spam bots have caught us, then oof. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Casual Master Quest. Lastly, if you want to check out, all the possible venues that we offer, you can, what's it called? Linktree, Nick, on Twitter?
Yep, we have a link right up on our Twitter profile that'll take you to everywhere we are.
Including a Discord, which you're absolutely welcome to. Lastly, we do have a D&D podcast called Casual Questmasters, where the party just finally got back together because splitting up was an excellent idea. We kissed a stone, we watched a dwarf pile drive 20 feet into the ground, and accidentally teleported into Lord Neverember's private guest chambers, which caused an interesting scene. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, unless anybody else wants to give any last words, plugs, or anything of the likes.
No, I think we're good.
Awesome. Then that was Sam, that was Alex, that was Nick, that was Glenn, and this was Tyler. Thank you very much for listening to episode 86 of Casual Master Quest, and we'll see you next week. But don't forget to never stop the grind. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
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 What? The intro to the podcast, titled Casual Master Quest, was paid for and produced by the wonderful talent Revelries Music. You can find more of their work at soundcloud.com/Revelries Music, or just click on the link in the show descriptions. The background music is the album Top 50 Best Classical Piano Music by Brilliant Classics. You can find out more about Creative Commons at www.creativecommons.org/license/by/4.0.